Hello, everybody. Mr. Cunningham, were you speaking just now? Because we could not hear you. Are the other sides able to hear you?
No.
No, okay.
So, Mr. Cunningham, there is an audio, maybe an audio issue at your site.
And Alva, please unmute your side and speak some word.
Hello.
Okay.
Can you hear us?
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
And Leo also.
Leo.
Please unfold.
Hello.
Okay.
Yeah, I can hear Leo.
Okay.
Can you hear me now?
Yes, yes. A while ago, we weren't. We could see you're speaking, but we couldn't hear you.
Yeah, I guess it's rushing around today. Anyways, I was going to tell you today we're going to have a special a couple hours of together. The first hour, we're going to see a trial that we put together for you. These are the types of trials that we want to try to do next year. They're basically international criminal court type of trials where you would take a historical figure and try them or prosecute them for war crimes or genocide. Today we decided to do with for our law day presentation would be Talat Pasha, and Talat Pasha was the ended up being the Grand Vizier of the Ottoman Empire, but he was one of the Young Turks, one of the three people that were really important or pivotal in this this whole thing you're about to see. Then we're going to look at, we're going to have a time where we can talk to a gentleman whose father was a young boy during the time. He's a survivor of the genocide, and he's going to tell his stories his father's told him and stuff like that. So you can ask him questions. And then we're going to end with some comments and stuff. I put together a PowerPoint, and then Mimi's school and our school had kind of put that together so you can kind of reflect upon that. So whenever you have to go, you have to go, but the people who will be able to see it will be able to get a real good impression. I got interested in this many years ago, gosh, about 20-something years ago now, I guess, or maybe more than 20 years ago. I've always been interested in Armenia. I didn't really know why. I found out later when my children, my triplet daughters were being born, that I came from, my family came from Armenia. So Armenian history has been interesting to me, fascinating to me since I was a young child. But I started getting serious about the genocide issues and stuff probably in the 80s. And at that time, it was very hard to even discuss that if you were in Armenia, and it was against the law. So we're going to look at what history could be, and try to be able to. I'll be quiet, and we'll try to do this. Okay. So let me put this up.
Hello, my name is Juan Castillo. I'm from Dallas, Texas, and I'm presenting this court case of the Armenian Genocide. Justice anywhere is a threat to justice everywhere. Stated by Martin Luther King. Join us May 2nd.
Are the other sides able to hear the audio?
You can't hear the audio?
Not really at our site.
Wow.
No, a little bit low.
Yeah, I can't get any higher for some reason.
The trial that never happened. The trial that they said could never happen. The trial that will happen on the 2nd of May 2022. March 15, 1921, Berlin, Germany. At 10:45 a.m. a murder takes place. Talat Pasha is the victim, and Soghomon Zaverian is the shooter. I've killed a man, but I've not murdered. Soghomon Zaverian assassinates Talat Pasha on March 15, 1921. Operation Nemesis was a cover operation by the Armenian Revolutionary Federation, carried out from 1920 to 1922, during which a number of former Ottoman political and military figures were assassinated for their role in the genocide. After killing Salah Pasha, Salir was arrested, but on June 3rd, 1921, he was freed from the courtroom. Deciding justice said, "Why don't you consider yourself guilty?" The defendant stated, "I do not consider myself guilty because my conscience is clear." "Why is your conscience clear?" The defendant said, "I've killed a man, but I've not murdered." Instead of killing Salah Pasha, I brought a trial. Instead of murder, let's charge him for genocide, charge him for crimes against humanity, charge him for war crimes. In this process, we used the International Criminal Court, 1948 term of genocide, and we will use an expert in this field as a judge, who will present both sides of the case, ICC prosecution, the Rami, and defense versatility. 100 years of the now when it comes to why was a trial necessary? The murder of 1.5 million people. The events of trial of Salah's murder proves our point. He was tried for murder but was exonerated by the court. This trial became a highly sensational event, examining not only Talerian's guilt but also that of Salah Pasha, for the Armenian deputation's impact and mass killing. The trial influenced published lawyer Raphael Limke, who was later to coin the term genocide. He reflected on the trial. Why is a man punished when he kills another man? And why is the killing of a million unnecessary crime than the killing of a single individual? The Allies sell out the genocide for benefits and oil. The secret annex to the treaty called Declaration of Amnesty granted immunity to the perpetrators of any crimes committed between 1914 and 1922, notably the Armenian Genocide, which were illegal under international law. The treaty thus put an end to the effort to prosecute Ottoman war criminals and codified immunity for the genocide. Historian Hans Lucas Kircher states that the treaty tackled endorsed comprehensive policies of expulsion and extermination of ethnic and hetero-religious groups. Treaty of Lausanne, 1973, final treaty concluded World War I. It was signed by representatives of Turkey, on one side by Great Britain, France, Italy, Japan, Greece, Romania, and the kings of Serbs, Croats, Slovenes, and on the other, the treaty was signed at Lausanne, Switzerland on July 24, 1923, after a 7-month conference. This is why a trial takes place before the death in the treaty. March 15, 1921, July 24, 1923. Reasons for prosecution. There are at least 17 official orders signed by Talat Pasha, Minister of the Interior, that directly tie Talat Pasha to the genocide, war crimes, and crimes against humanity concerning his role in the termination of the Armenian population, March 1915 to January 1916. Article 6, genocide. For the purpose of this court, genocide means any of the following acts committed with intent to destroy in whole or in part a national, ethnic, racial, or religious group. Article 8, war crimes. The court shall have jurisdiction in respect of war crimes, in particular when committed as part of a plan or policy or as part of large-scale commissions of such crimes. September 16, 1915, to the prefecture of Aleppo. You already been advised that the government, by order of decision, has decided to destroy completely all other indicated persons, Armenians, Turkey. All who oppose this decision and command cannot remain on the official staff of the empire. Their existence must come to an end, however tragic the means may be, and no regard must be paid to either age or sex or position scruples. Minister of the Interior, Talat. This is Telegram 537 and Telegram 691. Government of Aleppo, December 9, 1915. There's nothing wrong in accepting the telegram sent to government offices by the Armenians, complaining and protesting against the deeds done to them, but it would be a waste of time to examine them. Tell those who protest to claim their lost rights when they reach their place of exile. Minister of the Interior, Talat. Prosecution, Del Valley High School. Teacher Michael Cunningham, student Sofia Rodriguez, and Brian Marshall. Why is May 2nd, 2022 so important? It has never happened before. Someone was responsible for this. The question is who?
Chief Justice, Associate Justice, and may it please the court, your honors, I will talk about genocide and war crimes. My partner will discuss crimes against humanity. We will begin looking at the charges and then go into the evidence. For the purpose of this court, genocide means any of the following acts committed with the intent to destroy in whole or in part a national, ethnical, racial, or religious group. As such, killing members of the group, causing seriously bodily or mental harm to the members of the group, deliberately inflicting on the group conditions of life calculated to bring about its physical destruction in whole or in part, imposing measures intent to prevent birth within the group, forcibly transferring children of the group to another group. Article 8, War Crimes. The court shall have jurisdiction in respect of war crimes, in particular when committed as a part of a plan or policy or as part of a large-scale commission of such crimes. For the purpose of this court, war crimes means grave breaches of the Geneva Conventions of 12 August 1949, namely any of the following acts against persons or property protected under the provisions of the relevant Geneva Convention. Statements of the facts. There are at least 17 official orders signed by Menin Talapasha, Minister of the Interior, that directly tie Menin Talapasha to the genocide, war crimes, and crimes against humanity concerning his role in the determination of the Armenian population, March 1915 through January 1916. Your Honor, before I present copies of the evidence that Talapasha ordered the mass deportation, forced movements, and genocide of the Armenian people living in the Ottoman Empire, I would like to present these three arguments to establish the basis of this trial today. First, the defense will claim they are innocent. No, Your Honor, not because they did not do it, but because the world genocide was not even a war, let alone a crime, when they murdered 1.5 million Armenians. Second, Your Honor, the Treaty of Lausanne, signed on July 24, 1923, included a declaration on amnesty according to which Turkish nationals and reciprocally nationals of the other signatory powers of the Treaty of Lausanne who were arrested, prosecuted, or sentenced prior to November 28, 1922, benefited from amnesty. Third, in the court-martial trials in Turkey, he was sentenced to death, July 5, 1919. Your Honor, as you can plainly see, Talapasha was found guilty of masterminding the Armenian genocide by an international court on July 5, 1919. To the government of Aleppo, March 9, 1915. All the rights of Armenians to live and work on Turkish soils have been completely cancelled. In regard to this, the government takes all responsibility on itself and has commanded that even babes in the cradle are not to be spared. March 25, 1915, to the Hamel Bey, delegate to Adana. The duty of everyone is to effect on the broadest lines possible the realization of the noble project of wiping out its existence through well-known elements who for centuries have been the barrier to empire's progress and civilization. In our dispatch dated February 18th, we announced that the Jehemiah has decided to uproot and annihilate the different forces which for centuries have been hindrance for this purpose. It is forced to resort to very bloody methods. Certainly, the contemplation of these methods horrified us, but the Jehemiah saw no other way of ensuring the stability of its work. September 3, 1915, the Prefecture of Aleppo. We advise that you include that women and children also in the orders which have been previously prescribed as to be applied to the males of the intended person. Select employees of confidence for these duties. September 6, to the Prefecture of Aleppo. You have already been advised that the government by order of the Emir has decided to destroy completely all the indicated persons living in Turkey. All who oppose this decision in command cannot remain on the official staff of the empire. Their existence must come to an end, however tragic their means may be, and no regard must be paid to either age or sex or to conscientious scruples. To the government of Aleppo, September 21st, 1915. There is no need for an orphanage. It is not time to give way to the sentiment and feed the orphans, prolonging their lives. Send them away to the desert and inform us. To the government of Aleppo, September 29, 1915, we hear that some of the people and officials are marrying Armenian women. We strictly prohibit this and urgently recommend that these women shall be picked out and sent away. November 18, 1915, to the prefecture of Aleppo. It appears from the interventions which have been recently been made by the American ambassador at Constantinople on behalf of this government that the American consuls are obtained information by secret means. The government of Aleppo, November 23, 1915, destroyed by secret means the Armenians of the eastern provinces who passed into your hands there. Government of Aleppo, December 1st, 1915. In spite of that fact that is necessary above all to work for the extermination of the Armenian clergy, we hear that they are being sent to suspicious places like Syria and Jerusalem. Government of Aleppo, December 9, 1915. There is nothing wrong in accepting a telegram sent to the government offices by the Armenians complaining and protesting against the deeds done to them. Government of Aleppo, December 11, 1915. We hear that the correspondents of Armenian newspapers traveling in those parts have faked some letters and photographs showing certain criminal actions which they have given to the American consuls. Government of Aleppo, December 11, 1915. We hear that the correspondents of Armenian newspapers traveling in those parts have faked some letters and photographs showing certain criminal actions which they have given to the American consuls. To the government of Aleppo, December 17, 1915, to communicate those who wish to save themselves from the government deportation by becoming Muslims that they must become Muslims in their place of exile. To the government of Aleppo, December 26, 1915, it has been decided that all Armenians worked on the railway or on any construction shall be sent to their place of deportation. The war offers us the commanders of deportation camps. December 29, 1915, to the prefecture of Aleppo. We inform that the foreign officers are finding along the road the corpses of the indicated persons and are photographing them. January 15, 1916, to the port of Aleppo. We inform that certain orphanages which have opened also admit the children of the Armenians. The government of Aleppo, January 16, 1916, we hear that all along which runs between Imzili, Arin, and Aleppo, there are some 40 or 50,000 Armenians, mostly women and children. 1916, from the Ministry of the Interior to the government of Aleppo. Only those orphans who cannot remember the terrors to which their parents have been subjected must be collected and kept, send the rest away with the caravans. Legal government warrant genocide. Argument 1. Talib Pasha is guilty for 4 counts of genocide according to Article 6. Killing members of the group, causing seriously bodily or mental harm to the members of the group, deliberately inflicting on the group's conditions of life, calculated to bring the past about its physical destruction in whole or in part. Forcibly transferring children of the group to another group. Evidence. Argument 1. Talib Pasha is guilty of the 4 counts of genocide according to Article 6, as well as the circular order of April 24, 1915 that was signed by Menem Talib Pasha, Minister of Interior, ordering the beginning of Armenian Genocide. Circular order of April 24, 1915 continued. Evidence for violation of Article 6 can be seen in this written document for Talib Pasha. Evidence for violation of Article 6 can be seen in this written document from Talib Pasha continued. Talib Pasha's own words on the subject genocide. Turkey is taking advantage of the war in order to really liquidate its internal foes, the indigenous Christians, without being thereby disrupted by the foreign intervention. What on earth do you want? The question is settled. There are no more Armenians. Talib Pasha's own words on this subject. Genocide continued. Conclusion. Petition to the court. In conclusion, I would like to continue and state that we should also look at the conversations that the Talib Pasha had with the U.S. ambassador On Saturday, April 24th, 1915, according to Morgan II diary entry of that date. He had a dinner party on that night with Salapas. He had a conversation about the Zionist movement in Turkey. Morgan II suggested that Turkey should embrace the Zionist movement. Salam told him that he didn't want to trust the Zionists and didn't want non-Turks in the empire. Morgan II then asked about Armenians. He was also told by the Talat that the Armenians were arrested and would be moved to the interior of the country where they could do no harm, Your Honor. We can not have this and shall not have this. There is a clear-cut case of genocide played, and simply you should return guilty verdict on all 4 counts of genocide. Article 6, killing members of the group, causing seriously bodily or mental harm to the members of the group, deliberately inflicting on the group conditions of life, calculated to bring the people about its physical destruction or in whole or in part. Forcibly transferring children of the group to another group. If there are no further questions, I will stand down and allow my partner to speak on the second argument. Thank you, and vote to convict Talapasha.
My partner talked about genocide and war crimes. I will talk about crimes against humanity. Please cross-apply his arguments. Hello, my name is Van Mansell. I'm from Del Valle High School, and I will be presenting this case about the Armenian Genocide to you today. The Armenian Genocide was carried out by the Young Turk government of the Ottoman Empire in 1915-16. 1.5 million Armenians were killed out of a total 2 million Armenians in the Ottoman Empire. A charge of crimes against humanity under the Rome Statute, Article 7, states that murder exists when you order groups of people to be killed, extermination exists when you order it to happen, enslavement exists when you order people to murder. Dang it, I have to start. I don't know why the buttons weren't working on this one.
Go down to the very bottom of it.
Yeah, it's working. My partner talked about genocide and war crimes. I will talk about the crimes against humanity. Please cross-apply his arguments. Hello, my name is Van Mansell. I'm from Del Valle High School, and I will be presenting this case about the Armenian Genocide to you today. The Armenian Genocide was carried out by the Young Turk government of the Ottoman Empire in 1915-16. 1.5 million Armenians were killed out of a total 2 million Armenians in the Ottoman Empire. A charge of crimes against humanity under the Rome Statute, Article 7, states that A, murder exists when you order groups of people to be killed. B, extermination exists when you order it to happen. C, enslavement exists when you order people to murder or others to be murdered yourself. D, deportation or forcible transfer of population when ordered such to happen. E, imprisonment or other severe deprivation of physical liberty and violation of fundamental rules of international law. F, torture ordered the denial of food supplies or health care. H, persecution against any identifiable group or collectively on political, racial, national, ethnic, cultural, or religious group. Perhaps the most damning thing here is Mehmed Talat Pasha's own words. In his autobiography, Talat stated, the deportation of the Armenians in some localities of the Greeks and in Syria and some of the Arabs was used inside and outside the empire as a source of attack on the Turkish government. First of all, I wish to inform the public that the rumors of deportation and assassination were exceedingly exaggerated. The Greeks and the Armenians, taking advantage of the ignorance of the American and European public of the Near Eastern situation and of the character of the Turks, used the deportation as a means for propaganda and painted it as best suited to their aim. In saying this, I do not mean to deny the facts. I desire only to eliminate the exaggerations and relate the facts as they occurred. One of the best sources of material on this subject would be Talat Pasha's documented conversations with U.S. Ambassador to the Ottoman Empire, Ambassador Morgenthau, as published in his 1918 book, Ambassador Morgenthau's Story. Suppose a few Armenians did betray you, I said. Is that a reason for destroying a whole race? Is that an excuse for making innocent women and children suffer? Those things are inevitable, he replied. This remark to me was not quite so illuminating as one which Talat had made subsequently to a reporter of the Berliner Tageblatt, who asked him the same question. We have been reproached, he said, according to this interviewer, for making no distinction between the innocent Armenians and the guilty. But that was utterly impossible in view of the fact that those who were innocent today might be guilty tomorrow. One reason why Talat could not discuss this matter with me freely was because of the member of the embassy staff who did the interpreting was himself Armenian. In the early part of August, therefore,